Hi everyone, welcome back. This is another video on the DE Noveski N4. Yes, this thing seems to be really hot right now, so we're going to take a further look at this. Now, as I'm recording this, it's right off the back of the compatibility test video, so I won't have read any comments filming this that was on the last video, if that makes sense. We're just going to take a quick look inside today, see what's going on. We did take a quick look at the compatibility, what works. Even though in that test the magazines and the bolts seem to work, we haven't tested it with BBs yet. We haven't got that far. Don't panic. I'm going to do something for you. Just not really sure what yet, because as always, which has been going on for a while, I just don't have access to anywhere to test this stuff, you know, middle of the week. So it would be nice to find a local range or something that allows Airsoft to go and test this out. It would have been perfect if in range was still, you know, I used to always be at in range when they launched it, and it was just ranges and stuff. It was more use to me than the site, but unfortunately that's not around anymore. So I'm going to take a look inside this today. I'm going to need a Torx bit to get in there. I'm not really sure what size it is. This is a T27, which is going to be very much too big. Let's go down to a 15. I bet it's going to be a 20. Yeah, so I think I've got a 20 down here. T20. To take the barrel off. Need a bit more torque. So let's get this thing taken apart. And I'm doing it live so no one can go, well, you've switched that out or you've switched this out. I'm discovering this the same time as you, so we might get surprised together. We might get, you know, a reaction of, oh yeah, that's probably how I thought they'd do it. But 6 T20 screws on the rail here. So just take them out. Make sure you use a T20 and not an Allen key that you've wedged in there. You're probably just going to break the screws because they don't look... they're not bad, they're just not of the highest quality. Slide this off. Very easy. That is extremely light. That's quite nice actually. And it is pinned. So it's pinned into the receiver so that it won't twist anywhere. We've got the flash hider and gas block next, so the flash hider is probably going to be a 1.5. Let's get the old fancy screwdriver out that I still get messages about today, even though I feel like I've answered all of them. 1.5mm Allen key on the flash hider. And I've seen a few people say, what suppressor fits this? Now it looks like it's the Sandman style suppressors. If you just put that on any of the Hong Kong Airsoft websites, you'll bring it up. You can buy them and they come with flash hiders, and it does look very much like this. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if there's any way you can buy that suppressor on its own, but we'll see, I suppose. So you've got a collar. You've got a nice little sort of notch section here for the grub screw on the flash hider, which is nice. I like that. They've got a relief cut for the O-ring, which I like. And they've also got the same relief cut on this collar here, so it sits in nicely. They have done a good job within the constraints of obviously how much they can do for such a price. Because people seem to forget that. They look at a, you know, £350 rifle and expect it to have the internal parts of a £2,000 rifle. That wasn't insanely tight, but to be honest with you, once the rails aren't in the pin and those line up, it's probably going to be absolutely fine. It's not going to go anywhere. It's nice that you don't have to heat that up to the temperature of the sun and have Thor come down and hit it with his hammer to release it. So very reminiscent of an MWS, of course. It comes out very easy. We're going to pull the barrel and hopset out here, and I'm going to be very relieved because of course we've got the slots just like a Maru one, which of course, what are we going to put in it? We're going to put a Jaeger Titan nub in this thing, and probably a Flamingo hot rubber, because that seems to be a very good combo. So we'll pull this out here. It's very, I mean, I really do love the fact that they've just carbon copied it, because it just makes life so much easier. The hot rubber does look a little bit different. Let's have a look at that here. So they have got sort of a different style hot rubber than, you know, the normal, just the mound style. So it's like a little sort of, what shape is that? Trapezoid, something like that. I'm no good at geometry, but hopefully I can show this off for you here so you can see it. So you might be seeing this better than I can. So it might perform actually pretty well. Of course, a tightening there would be nice. A barrel this short, I mean, when I was testing it on a 0.3, because I did test it with different weights, on a 0.3, I was getting about a joule, which is good. That's probably because of how small this barrel is. So I imagine once we extend that barrel, if we put a nice, you know, upgrade barrel in there, we're probably going to have to reduce the power somehow. So hop up rubber, hop, everything like that looks very good news. VSR style hot rubbers, you know, it's very hard. So I imagine a softer rubber in there is going to do a better job. I might actually have a Marui MWS barrel. I think this is one actually. A Marui MWS barrel and hop rubber. So you'll see it's not that much longer. So you're sort of talking about 2 inches, maybe 40, 50 millimeters. When this is sat in, let's try and gauge how far down this would go. So in the outer barrel, if you can see that, that's the sort of length that you're looking at. So that'll be a standard MW. That actually might be an AK barrel, potentially, if it's on the side, because I think the 250s, I think that's going to be like a 200mm barrel. So that could be an AK barrel. So don't quote me on what I've just done. However, I think that's absolutely brilliant news for this platform. The hop-up sort of adjuster seems to work very well indeed. Maybe a tiny little bit looser to, you know, a Marui one, but to be honest with you, all it needs to do is put pressure on that arm and hold the hop-up in place. Everything else on there is pretty much as you'd expect. Let's move on to the buffer and see if there is similarities with the Marui one. And yes, again, it just looks like a carbon copy. They have done the best thing they could possibly do and just copy it. Anyone remember when Celsius were copying Sistema PTWs? And they really would have been onto a winner if they just copied it rather than trying to put their own spin on it and, in their eyes, make it better. But it wasn't better. When they were running good, they were running good, but that wasn't very often. It was definitely a challenge to keep them running good. But then again, Sistemas were just as bad. And don't get in the comments saying, no, Sistemas are perfect, because they were very far from perfect. Let's tap this trigger box out. And let's see if it's as big of a pain in the arse to get out compared to the Marui one. So we pull this out and we spin the mag release to undo it, like so. Is the mag release steel? So yes. And yes, steel parts, which are good. Just for reference, here's a Marui, my Mark 18. Don't think the Maruis are. No, definitely not. Those sears will be magnetic because they're the Guns Modify ones. So the roller on the Marui hammer is magnetic, but the rest isn't. And of course the Z plate is as well. Right, let's tap this bad boy out. So if I can remember how to get them out, if it comes out similar, yeah, it seems like it does. Selector comes out pretty damn easy. We've got a screw at the bottom there. Screwdriver. Let's try and use something of a good size. Is that gonna fit? Looks like it will. all my tools are scattered at the moment because I've got so much work going on. Need a Phillips. Let's use the one out of here, if that will work. Oh, it really doesn't want to come out. Really doesn't want to come out. Is that going to work? Yeah, there we go. Take this rearward screw out. And if you've worked on the Marui MWS before, you know what's coming up. You have to beat the rifle within an inch of its life to get the trigger pack out. But let's try and tap this one out and see how well it goes. So I need a hammer and I need something to punch the pin out. There we go. Pin comes out. We do have knurling on this pin. It wants to bloody come out. Come on. No, it wants to play hard to get. I hope you guys are appreciating me running this in real time. I'm going to try not to cut it at all. Oh. I think I just made a mess in my pants. If you know how hard it is to get the Marui trigger boxes out, you know how satisfying that is. Like, come on. If they can do it, why can't Marui do it? You know, Marui had to shove it in so goddamn hard. Keep your minds out the gutter. Bolt release. Steel, of course. Set plate, very much a copy of the original. Oh, I completely missed it with the magnet. Steel, yep. And this very much looks like a Marui MWS trigger box. I really can't see much differences at all, to the point where I'm even questioning, do we even need to take it apart before we really put this thing through its paces? There's a long hair there, but it's definitely not mine. You know what, sod it, let's do it. Just for you guys, because I know you're going to get angry at me if I don't. Let's take this apart. So, are we a 2mm or are we a 1.5? We are a 2mm. We've got 1. We've got 2. I think the only way this could get better is if they put like adjustable sears in it, where you could adjust the trigger pull. I mean, that really would be rubbing it in, wouldn't it? So we're just going to slightly maneuver the box casing like that, so it comes off. Oh, that was sticky. Ew. So yeah, we can see it's pretty much identical so far. Got a little spring there on that sear. We've got a little spring here on that sear. We're going to have to be careful because this is probably going to want to jump out. Let's release the pressure. So that sear is not steel, but that sear is. So one of the sears is steel. There's a little split ring there. I imagine that is for the pin that goes through the box. So trigger, steel, hammer sear, steel, and then that final part is not. It's just going to be some kind of pot metal. Ooh. Spin it round. This part again, it's going to be a pot metal part. So not all the parts are steel, but predominantly most of them are. try and pull the hammer here. I really am playing with fire because it was working absolutely fine. There's literally no reason to take it apart, but we want to see what's going on, don't we? So hammer, steel, roller, steel, roller pin, steel. Good, it's going to last. And then we've also got the valve knocker, which is steel as well. The casing is, again, some kind of cast metal. So there you go, boys and girls. Hop rubber the same, sorry, not hop rubber, hop unit and barrel and rubber type, exactly the same. The arm looks pretty much identical, maybe a couple of little dimensional differences here and there. The buffer, if you put that and a Marui one in front of me, I honestly couldn't tell the difference between them, and I did hold a Marui one earlier, just testing something that I've been working on before it goes for production. Spring is a spring, you know. Z plate, if you wanted to swap that one out. Still, I'm going to say very much similar to what I used to say before, is the best Z plate that I came across, and I've never come across anything better, was the Bavtac one. You know, credit where credit is due. You did a very good job on that part. So that would be the one that I would be buying. So if you're looking for a upgraded Z plate, go get the Bavtac one. It is still the best one that you can buy. All the other parts you're not going to have to mess with because they're all really hard. I imagine these couple of parts here are not made in steel just because they don't have to be. I don't know the specific names for those parts. It's not adjustable, of course. Not the end of the world. It seems to work absolutely fine. You don't really notice the trigger pull or anything like that. Very much like a Marui. When you're using it, you really don't notice. So I am so much more impressed with this thing. I mean, the only thing we haven't took apart is the bolt. If you guys want me to take that apart, let me know and I'll do it in the next video. And we also need to take the mag apart as well. So thanks for tuning in this video. I hope you like what you see. It still gets a massive thumbs up from me. No affiliation, no gun to my head, anything like that. I bought it with my own money, and this is still one of the best products that I've bought this year, I'm going to say. And I've bought a lot of stuff that I've been very impressed with. This is very much up there. And as soon as they become available again, I'm probably going to pick up another one in black just because, I don't know, what's another MWS? You know, I've got 4 or 5 at the moment. So, very pleased with it. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know in the comments below, because this will be the second video to the series that I'm doing. Oh, God. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to take the bolt apart, and we'll have a look at that in the next one. And I'll see you, from me and Bench, we'll see you in the next one.